In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to improve the appearance of your knob, or knobs, if you've got more than one. Let's go and have a look.
Are you listening? Damn.
Right then guys, I thought I'd put a little guide together to show you the best way to repair your knobs and buttons with recessed lettering in. Now, the three main techniques that I've found online is people painting over completely, waiting for it to dry and sanding it back. Now obviously you're going to scuff the surrounding finish, so you're going to need to lacquer it afterwards, so that's technique one. Technique two, I've seen people very intricately touching up the letters, and that's the finished job. And I've also seen people fill it up with paint, with just putting enough paint in, waiting for it to dry slightly, then getting some thinners on a bit of blue roll, and then wiping the surface paint off and then going with that. So let's try all three techniques and then I will let you know what the best one is. As you can see, we've got half of the lettering intact and half of it's missing, so we'll just pick the rest of the lettering out, because if we pick the lettering out it will give us a recess to try and paint into. Now it is going to be a very, very small recess, I know, but the brush is very, very fine on this little touch up, so we may be lucky enough. That's had the rest of the paint picked out of it, and it's had a bit of degreaser put on it as well. It's not gone too grey and horrible, so I'm hoping if we can get that painted white, I'd be happy to use that on the car. That would be great. Right then, let's get this set up and then you can watch me struggle like mad to try and touch up the smallest things ever. Let's have a go. Right then, as I say, obviously it's got a brush inside of it, but it does come with the tiny, I don't know if you can see that, the tiniest little needle on the end of it. You can just see the paint kind of bleeding out of it a little bit. Now I'm hoping that that's going to be fine enough to fill up, but I'm not entirely sure. I mean, just with it upside down, it's already pushing paint out of it, so when I turn it upside down, I think I'm going to lose a little bit of control and it's probably going to go a bit wrong. But we will try. Mixed reviews. We just had to put in the smallest amount possible to fill up the letters, and then we're going to have to wait for that to dry, sand it back, and then it's probably going to be a coat of lacquer, I would have thought, because we're going to scuff this up when we sand it, which is going to obviously cause it to not look very nice. Now the lettering on the air pull was a little bit bigger, so that one's gone quite nice, but there's still a little bit of an overspill of paint, so we'll wait for that one to dry and then very lightly sand over the top of it, and then I think that one's going to need lacquering too, unfortunately, but it's better than buying new. Now then, this could be a good one. This might work. Let's have a look at that. I call that a result. That looks really, really good. Now what we've ended up doing is when we wiped over with the blue roll, it kind of drags the paint. It's not the easiest thing to do, but then if you get the little brush just on the corners, you can just wipe off the little bits of paint. I'm happy with that. Just done the same with the bonnet lock, and I would say that is a massive result. That one had a few minutes extra to dry. Now I don't know whether that's helped things, but that's a really intricate little one, that is, and that's come up perfect. I'm really, really, really happy with that. That looks really good. I think that is our technique. That is the one. So there we go. Technique 3 was the winner by a mile. We didn't need to do any overpainting, any sanding, any lacquering. And if you leave it a couple of minutes to just let the paint dry ever so slightly, you can go over it, you can wipe it off with thinners and then get yourself a little artist brush, and just where it pulls the paint on the edges of the lettering, you can just get rid of the little bits of paint, and that is it. That is the best way to touch up the recessed lettering on your knobs and buttons and switches on your classic car. There you go. What a result. That can go back on the car now. Perfect. See you again soon.